Hello? Is this thing working? Is this working? Oh no. Oh no. And there. Hey everyone, this is my first video, so feel free to hate. That being said, cue the cringe. Oh my gosh. Have you ever wanted to live in a place with no toilet paper, away from your family, where you do your laundry in a bucket and wipe with your hand? Of course. I would love to learn the level 3 thrift skill of unlimited toilet paper. But if you're normal, you would think, why would one torture themselves in such a ceremonious way? Missionary service, which I did. In doing so, I sweat enough water to nourish Africa for a year. It was an interesting experience in the Philippines. So welcome to Animate My Mission, or Animation. So, what the heck? How does this happen? High schoolers who do the most peculiar things.
Oh, he hops on the rail? Oh, yeah!
To get attention are now called to a country to represent a religion as big as the world. Why would you do it? Why would you go? I don't know, you think I know the answer? But if you do, pack anti-diarrheals. Oh my gosh. Anyway, before heading out to the country, I packed 2 years of clothing, and then my family said goodbye to me at this one facility called the MTC.
Oh, baby!
Yeah, he's gone. Essentially, the MTC is a missionary high school, and you voluntarily imprison yourself there. And then boom! You are stuck there for 3 to 9 weeks with other missionaries going to the same place as you. There, missionaries reevaluate their life and wonder why they just agreed to get plopped into a peculiar place without perceiving the other country's particular practices. Like showering in a bucket, becoming breakfast for mosquitoes, and speaking long words. Pananampalitaya, Sapamamagitan, Nakaka Pagpabagabag. They had some white dude attempt to teach us how to communicate, but we were also pumped for bucket showers. We didn't learn much else. But at least it left us with a glimmer of hope in terms of communication. About to get crushed. Anyway, after realizing what I signed up for, 6 weeks had already passed, and I was already on the plane, going into a foreign country. Only on the plane ride, it seemed like I finally realized what I just got myself into. There's something about shoving a bunch of unreadable Chinese characters in front of a man's face that sparks that excited dread. In plain and simple words, I was scared. No time for that. After a short hop in Hong Kong, preceding a not-so-short hop over the Pacific Ocean, 15 hours. We arrived in the heart of what seemed like an enormous factory. And in that factory, they happened to be the world supplier in chaos. This place, known as Manila, Philippines, was unlike anything I had seen before. There were so many smaller people, I had to make sure I didn't squish any of them while walking. Before I could make an attempt at processing what the heck was going on, they just yanked us away and shoved us into this van where I connected spiritually with sardines because of exceeding tightness. We shot off super fast towards our next destination, then stopped immediately seconds after, and going, and stopping, and going, and stopping.
To more visually explain how I felt in this situation, here is a video of Swerve Star from Kirby Air Ride stopping and going.
This abdominally unpleasing procedure continued until the traffic was so saturated it was enough to give a vegan a heart attack. Literally any space was filled. One instance, there was this little tiny 3-foot gap between our tin of sardines, the bus, and another bus. When this one guy on a motorcycle was like, oh, 3 feet sounds good for my 4-foot wide motor. After an atrocious obstacle course of traffic, we dazingly arrived at the second phase of Missionary High School. But this time it was Asian Edition. We were staying here for 1 week of additional training before heading into our respective assignment. We learned a lot more in 1 week there than the 6 weeks in the US. Which was, 1, we had no clue what they were saying. Turns out they taught us white guy Filipino at the MTC, and it didn't work. It didn't work to communicate. And 2, charades was going to be my main method of communication for the time being. I just started relying on dabbing when communicating with other Filipinos. They liked it. It was charades king. After we recovered from our jet lag, well, Asian high school was already over, and they immediately shipped us off into our respective location. This time, in a more unfamiliar can of sardines with fishy faces I did not know. At least being with other Filipinos was quite efficient for learning the language. I probably should have scaled that joke down. All right, I am finished. The Philippines is separated into 3 main regions, all with their unique local languages. I happened to go to a place called Legazpi in the vast array of islands provided by the Philippines. They dropped us off at like 3 a.m. in the airport, and we arrived around 8 a.m. in Legazpi. Legazpi is spelled with a Z. Everyone couldn't agree if it was a Z or an S. It was a Z. Just trust me on that one. They dumped us off in this airport in the middle of nowhere. One where you just walk out on the runway and there were no other planes there. We're just a little lonely. We got a great view of the local surroundings and the active volcano! He becomes relevant later. Then we met up with Santa Claus reincarnate, who just happened to be the poor old chop in charge of the army of post-high school adolescents. Oh, no. Then it began. The ultimate quest. The thing I dreamt about since I was a child. Becoming a missionary. And that's where it began. My mission. Now Animation. And a huge chaos cookie was about to crumble before my eyes. Thanks for watching. This specific series may have small references on religion, but I will try to keep it as non-denominational as possible. My focus is not to preach in these videos. It's mainly just to tell you some of my wacky tales, and mainly just to humanize those who seem like weird robots on bikes. If you ever do get curious, well, they're everywhere. Just go stop and talk to one of those dudes. I mean, they're pretty cool. Also, just a little tidbit, I am really sarcastic. Anything that sounds too offensive, I really don't mean to. You can just punch me in the face next time you see me if that's all good. I mean, yeah, yeah, if you ever see me. Yeah, like they say in Brooklyn, early bird gets the bagel. Just go and do something with your life. And what am I doing? Okay. Oh my gosh.
Whoa.